Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today we're going to do a comparison of the Samsung Galaxy Watch to the Apple Watch Series 3. And this is really going to be just a matter of preference, just a kind of personal preference. I'll talk about some of the things I like and dislike about both of the watches. And to be honest with you, they're both really fantastic watches. It's really just a matter of preference. Obviously, if you are an Apple user, the Apple Watch Series 3 is going to be a lot better for you. The nice thing is that the Samsung Galaxy Watch does also work with both iPhones and Android devices. It works best with Samsung devices, but it will also work with an iPhone as well. Whereas, of course, the Apple Watch Series 3, you're basically going to have to use an iPhone with it. So if you're an Android user, obviously the Apple Watch Series 3 isn't going to be a watch for you. So just as a quick comparison, the version I have of the Apple Watch is the LTE version. As you can see here, this is the 42 millimeter, and that one I think is $430 retail, whereas the Samsung Galaxy Watch that I have here, the version I have is the 46 millimeter Bluetooth. I did also have the LTE version at one point. Unfortunately, the LTE version only works for T-Mobile, which is fine for me because I have T-Mobile, but for those of you that aren't on T-Mobile, you're going to have to get just the Bluetooth only version of the watch, at least at this moment. So this one, I believe, was $380 if I remember right. And it is also available in 42 millimeter for those of you that have the smaller wrist. Now, in terms of build quality, that's the first area I want to talk about. It's going to be a matter of preference again here. Personally, I prefer the Samsung Galaxy Watch as far as just the look of it. That's really kind of the thing I'm going for here, is just the sheer look. In terms of which one would be better for someone who's maybe looking for something to work out with, I would say the Apple Watch Series 3 is definitely the lighter of the two. This one is a little bit more bulky. You definitely get used to it after wearing it for a day or two, but it's definitely more bulky. So if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, you'll definitely want to get the 42 millimeter version of the Galaxy Watch. But as far as thickness, you can see they're really actually about the same in terms of thickness. It's just that this one has a bigger footprint. It's also made out of stainless steel versus you can get the Apple Watch Series 3 in stainless steel. I just happen to have the aluminum version because the aluminum version is a lot cheaper than the stainless steel version of the Apple Watch Series 3. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the software on these two devices. And I gotta say that for me personally, I definitely prefer the Samsung Galaxy Watch software, and mainly because of the fact there's really two reasons, I guess. Number one is utilization of this bezel here, so this rotating crown or rotating bezel. So obviously the Apple Watch has the rotating crown. I just feel like the crown is not utilized as well as the bezel is on the Samsung Galaxy Watch, so I actually prefer that rotating bezel, and it works so well. And another thing is the shortcuts or the widgets that it has available here to the right. So you have your main watch face, and then as you scroll to the right, you can see that there are different widgets, and you can change these as much as you want. So you can say I have Spotify as one of my widgets, then music, and then you can add widgets here as well. We'll go ahead and get out of that. And then if I go over to the left, you can see some of my notifications. So we'll just kind of scroll through these. And then responding to emails, text messages, whatever is super easy on the Samsung Galaxy Watch. And that is not to say that it's not as easy. It's actually almost equally as easy on the Apple Watch. So you have your shortcuts here to the bottom. And if you come from the top, you have your notifications. Now at the moment, I don't have notifications because it's not linked up to my phone at the moment. But then if I hit the crown, I can go ahead and go into all of my apps. Now that is definitely an area where the Apple Watch hands down just destroys the Samsung Galaxy Watch, and that is in terms of pure number of apps available. So the Galaxy Watch or Tizen 4.0 definitely is lacking when it comes to the number of apps that you can get. So it just does not utilize nearly as many apps as what you can get on the Apple Watch. Now, if you're talking about, like, let's say Google or Android Wear devices or Wear OS devices, they definitely come a lot closer to the number of apps. But without a doubt, Apple has all of the other manufacturers destroyed when it comes to number of apps you can get on your watch. So that's an area in terms of software where the Apple Watch clearly beats the Samsung Watch. But overall, in terms of software experience, my personal preference is for the Samsung Galaxy Watch. All right, so when it comes to the battery life on these two watches, it's probably a little bit of an unfair comparison simply because of the fact that it really depends on which version of the watches you get. Because the larger versions of both watches actually have a larger battery than the smaller versions, which you would expect. The 46 millimeter version of the Galaxy Watch has over 200 milliamps larger battery than the 42 millimeter version. With the Apple Watch, it's not quite as big of a difference between the smaller and the larger watch, but the larger watch definitely has a bigger battery than the 38 millimeter version of the watch. So I have the two larger versions. So again, 42 millimeter Apple Watch Series 3, 46 millimeter Samsung Galaxy Watch. And in general, I'm looking at about a day to 2 full days. I can generally get about 2 full days with the Apple Watch Series 3. Now that is utilizing GPS, also using Bluetooth while I'm running, and occasionally also using the LTE. That's pretty rare that I'm using the LTE, but I do utilize it once in a great while. But about every other day I'm charging that one. Whereas with the Galaxy Watch, generally about every 3 days I'm charging this one. And if I'm really conservative, I can maybe get 4 days. Super conservative, I can maybe get 3 days out of the Apple Watch. But in general, pretty much every other day here versus about every 3 days on the Samsung Galaxy Watch. And that is, of course, utilizing, again, Bluetooth and GPS while I'm running and getting all my notifications. So with both watches, I just go ahead and let them give all the notifications, and maybe just shut them off when I don't need the notifications, which is pretty rare while I'm sleeping and things like that. I'll turn them on Do Not Disturb. But in general, definitely without a doubt, the Samsung Galaxy Watch takes the win when it comes to battery life, also because of the fact that it utilizes Qi wireless charging. So I can use something like this, or obviously you can use your wireless charger that you have for your Samsung phone. And that's really nice. That's a great option to have in order to charge it up. Of course, it comes with its own wireless charger, but you can utilize any wireless charger to charge it up. Whereas with the Apple Watch, of course, you're going to have to use the proprietary little puck that it uses to charge it up. Not a big deal. It charges actually a lot faster than what you get with the Samsung Galaxy Watch, so that is a huge plus of the Apple Watch. In general, this one only takes maybe, I couldn't tell you, but it definitely charges a whole lot faster. I'd say maybe half the time that it takes the Samsung Galaxy Watch to charge up, partially because it has about half the size of the battery as well. So in terms of efficiency and battery life, the Apple Watch definitely has better efficiency, but the Samsung Galaxy Watch just in general lasts longer, which is nice to have. All right, so in the end, which one of these two watches is the quote-unquote better watch? Well, it honestly depends. Obviously, if you are an Apple user, the Apple Watch definitely is going to be the better. Even though the Samsung Galaxy Watch will work for you, I definitely think the Apple Watch Series 3 just works out better with an Apple device. Whereas, of course, if you're an Android user, obviously you can't even use this watch, so that one just pretty much out of the question. But this is a fantastic watch, and in fact, I think as of right now, this definitely beats out any Wear OS device, in my opinion, when it comes to both software and hardware all together. So the Samsung Galaxy Watch, fantastic. Definitely one worth considering. Now, which one of these two watches do I prefer since I have both Android and iOS devices? Well, for me right now, I just got to say that I prefer the Samsung Galaxy Watch. Now, that could change when the Series 4 comes out for the Apple Watch, but for me personally, the watch that I prefer to wear on a day-to-day basis is the Samsung Galaxy Watch. One other area that I should mention before I wrap this up is the health aspects of these two watches. When it comes to fitness, I think they both do a fantastic job. So of course, Apple is going to use Apple Health. Also, it does have the workout modes down here in the corner, but you can utilize a ton of different apps. So if you prefer like Map My Run or Runkeeper or Strava, all those are available here. Whereas with the Samsung Galaxy Watch, you basically have the option of Map My Run, and then it's preloaded Samsung Health workouts. Overall, I think both of them do a great job of tracking workouts. I do think that the Apple Watch Series 3 does tend to be more accurate, both when it comes to heart rate and GPS. The Galaxy Watch just tends to not be as consistent when it comes to the GPS and especially the heart rate sensor. For me, the heart rate sensor just hasn't been super consistent. Even with the Apple Watch Series 3, it's not always consistent. My Garmin definitely is far more consistent when it comes to both of those areas. But I think they both do a great job. Neither of them are amazing at tracking activities, but both do the job in a decent manner. So anyways, quick look at in comparison of the Galaxy Watch Apple Watch Series 3. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. I'm sure you will anyway, since this is a Samsung versus Apple competition here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.